Now, if you have been paying attention carefully to Hollywood, you would have found out that Hollywood are pushing certain trends across most of their movies. Now, they have been pushing policies all in the name of diversity and inclusion. Policies like actually baiting and switching straight white male characters for female characters. Other policies would include them changing canonical characters or actually changing their origin story to fit a more diverse audience. They've also shoehorned black and brown characters into storylines that they never existed in the first instance, saying they were trying to reimagine the actual authors of those stories because they were never inclusive in the first instance. However, now they have pushed another policy, something that many of us have called out and have been called all sorts of names for, that now a progressive celebrity is starting to complain about. Kumail Nanjiani was told people don't want to cast non-white actors as villains. You can imagine this when we said this about certain movies recently, like Batman, that in Batman, most of the good people in that movie were non-white, with the exception of Batman and Alfred, whom they could not change specifically because the story was about them. However, every other person that's a straight white male in that movie was a goddamn asshole or a scumbag of some sort. And even in Wakanda Forever, we saw a similar trend because the only bad guys in Wakanda Forever were the white operatives that were working on behalf of UN that tried to infiltrate the Wakandan base. If you notice, there were a lot of police that died during the escaping of Riri Williams. However, Riri Williams gets no punishment or accountability for blowing up a barricade that might have killed police officers or damaged police cars. So it didn't matter because the police officers were mostly white, or maybe all of them were white, and also they could not even make a bad guy out of Namora. They had to justify everything that he did, and in the end, what happened? Even though he killed the queen and a lot of Wakandans, they still sang Kumbaya because black and brown people cannot be held accountable for any bad thing. Such is the messaging that woke Hollywood projects. Now, so let's get into this story because Kumail Nanjiani happens to be very, very progressive. This is somebody who actually accused himself of toxic masculinity because he actually buffed up for a role in the Eternals and then continued staying buffed up, and he referred to himself, checking his weight and remaining buffed for, after the movie as toxic masculinity. This is the kind of guy we are talking about here, now complaining about these said policies in Hollywood. So let's read a little bit about this and find out what he has to say and why exactly is he pissed with Hollywood. And I'm going to share my thoughts regarding this. Please feel free to share yours in that comment section below. Thank you very much, Lee. Kumail Nanjiani says Hollywood is still limiting the kinds of roles that actors of color can play. The Eternals Big Sick and Silicon Valley actor who is promoting his recent Hulu limited series Welcome to Chippendales said in a new interview that decision makers are reluctant to cast non-white actors in villain roles. And whose fault is that? Whose fault is that exactly? Do you want to blame the people that are watching the movies, or do you want to blame Hollywood for pandering to the woke mob on Twitter? Well, I reckon it's people like yourself and people like the companies that run the movies that you star in that are at fault. I think that Hollywood now, even though they are trying to be more diverse, is still weird. Well, I agree with you that they are still weird. The actor told Esquire UK. The article notes Nanjiani believes that the problem is good intentions can sometimes lead to misguided solutions. If the bad guy is a brown guy, what message is that sending? Yes, that's your woke mentality of thinking. That's exactly how Hollywood is thinking, because that's how people like you think. Gone are the days where we would see Demolition Man and see a bad guy at the end of that or in the middle of that. Wesley Snipes, we missed those kind of bad guys. We've missed bad guys from Training Day like Denzel Washington. We've missed bad guys from brothers like Chiwetel Ejiofor and the likes of them. They don't do that today because wokeness wouldn't allow them to do it. Anyways, he continues by saying, and that's just as limiting as anything else, Nanjiani said. And this is what we've always said. At some point, when you push woke policies, it does affect the said people that you say you are trying to protect. It's just like when they push trans policies that affect feminists or affects women, something like that. Nanjiani said, I want to play more bad guys. He pointed to actor Sebastian Stan, who plays Marvel superhero The Winter Soldier, as well as Cannibal in 2022 movie Fresh. He does these things, big Marvel movies, and then he plays a psychopath. He says, I was told that that's going to be hard because people don't want to cast non-white people as bad guys. Well, like I said before, Hollywood has decided to throw away entertainment, forgo escapism, and push woke ideologies or woke agendas rather than actually entertain the people, rather than actually stick to interesting storylines. Now, when it comes to the people that are taking money out of their pocket and trying to watch these movies, they could care less. People like us could care less if the movie was an all-around white people or all-around black people or mixture of white and black people. We could care less. People watch Bill Cosby show just as much as they watch Family Matters, just as much as we watch Friends, just as much as we watch How I Met Your Mother. It didn't matter who the characters were. What matters was what sort of chemistry they had, what was the storyline, were you telling us a good story, what was the type of, did they merit acting in those movies? Because now meritocracy has gone out the window when it comes to Hollywood. Hollywood would literally just put you in a movie because they want to pander to the woke mob, and this is what you're getting. And the only reason why this fella is complaining as it were right now is because it is affecting his own business, it is affecting his career, and that's why he's complaining. It's not like he's actually doing it for true belief in progressivism. That's the reason why. No, it's because it is actually stopping him or limiting him from getting roles that he wants to get. In Welcome to Chippendale, Nanjiani plays the iconic strip club's Indian founder, Suman Steve Banajir. Forgive me if I don't pronounce that right. As he goes from an up-and-coming businessman in the 80s to a vilified accessory to murder in the early 90s. Nanjiani added that he suspects such a role would have gone to a white actor if the project wasn't based on a true story. And I guarantee you that even if it was a true story and it was a white person, Hollywood would not mind switching that white person into somebody else if actually that white role was a good role. They would have switched the character into black or anything else. However, if it's a villainous role, keep white people there. So this has led to the downfall of Hollywood, because this is yet another woke fail by Hollywood that even one of their progressive actors is starting to call out. And Hollywood, I need to ask you, all of these policies that you've been pushing, all of these ideologies that you've been pushing in your movie, how well is it working out for you? Because we've seen one of the worst years in box office as we can count back, and still people are complaining because you can never be woke enough. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe, ding that bell for notification, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care, peace, and Sayas out. Bye bye.